If I'm going to tell the truth, I'm actually felt like I'm under the rock in terms of the scene sa Filipino comics. I'm actually grateful that I got up to speed in the scene today. I'm still happy at the fact na may progress pa rin siya. However, we are still far from the mainstream, pero we are getting closer to unapproachable titles, to the music, to the film, and even now, comics. Kasi, syempre, when you think about Filipino comics, you think of something in the lines of like Libreng Comics, si Combatron, and those are the days. Those are the glory days. And I'm glad na naabutan ko yon even on the last stretch of it. And then I discover Maharlika, and it was a pretty amazing. If you are a fan of the likes of Akira and you like futuristic cyberpunk aesthetic, but still in the 90s vibe, I think this hits the right spot, and I couldn't recommend it enough. I mean, if you're gonna judge the book by its cover, this already do justice for that. And by the way, you can read it for free at their Substack. But, syempre, everybody wants a physical copy of it. And I'm glad that they're not just, this has already been launched for a while now, but now they are launching volume 2. And I got to talk to the writer and the artist, the main two, si Rexy Dorado and John Ray, and they are very amazing people. And I did ask him a few questions, including one in terms of what became their struggle in marketing this to the mainstream in what we have in the comic scene today, and of course, a message for you guys for those who wanted to start their own what comics or manga, whatever you call, you start the journey making your own like this.
I think marketing is like it's not easy, right? But I think the marketing part is a bit more straightforward, and it just takes work and time and effort. The problem is like how do you kind of like open up more work and time and effort, and I think that eventually translates to like how do you make money, so that as the writer and the artist you can focus more on it, on making the thing and then also marketing it. And I think that's the biggest challenge is like it's a hard time right now for the comics industry even globally. Like Diamond distributors in the US went bankrupt. A lot of just a lot of things in global media are being hit hard. Like a lot of animation studios have gotten cut, and then you might have a recession coming up, which means people have even less money to spend. And so there's not like a lot of proven models yet of like how do you kind of generate a sustainable income to focus on your work, and again just like to be able to ship chapters consistently and also have time to market it and make events and get more people to read the story. So I feel like that's the kind of fundamental especially in the Philippines where there's practically almost no industry. Like maybe there's one or two companies like Adarna Books that are like medium to large and Summit Media that have comics arms, but there's no like comics company, right? Like not since the 90s. It's been very like it's been very small in terms of the investment in it, and so the result of that is you probably have maybe a handful of artists and writers who are able to actually be full time in that work. So for me, it's that like testing with like this launch event, how do you sell the product online, like those types of things that no one really even globally has figured out. I think like I googled like on YouTube, or I searched on YouTube like making money on comics, just like study up on how people do it, and the top results were from 2-3 years ago, which means like a lot of people have kind of given up. But we think it's like possible. I think it's really like there's a huge opportunity there. But the answers aren't like we have to figure out the answers ourselves.
My advice would be first start small. Start something with manageable. Like if you're a comic book artist, start something with 6 pages, start to finish. If you can do 2 pages, 2 pages, start to finish. Kasi the worst thing you can do to yourself is plan something big and burn out before you can even start. It takes away your confidence kasi. So build up your confidence by finishing the small stuff. Get to know who you are, what you can do, what you can't do. And by then, you challenge yourself, oh, I can't draw cars. Maybe sa next comics ko, I'll draw cars naman. Parang ganun. So you have to build your confidence paunti-unti, which, to be honest, I was aware enough to do that when I was starting out. Small muna kasi I was also in the trap of doing something big. Like I had a big epic idea that I wanted to do that was going to go a lot of volumes pero walang nangyari. So I learned from that na I have to be realistic. What's something I can do start to finish. And from then, once you build up the confidence, either you continually build your craft. I sucked at anatomy before, so I studied, even na-graduate ako ng fine arts, I restudied anatomy. I bought an anatomy book. Ganun din, start to finish, I inaral ko siya. In the middle of MAHARLIKA, parang ganun din. I studied 3D para ma-build ko yung architecture na gusto ko. Yun nga. I studied even storytelling. Like, I went back to the books I love. Restudied, ba't ko to na-enjoy? And somehow, how can I incorporate in the books, in MAHARLIKA, parang ganyan. So, yun yung ano ko, keep studying, start small, and so that you can build the confidence to do the bigger things. Lastly would be, if you can, find a good collaborator then na same-minded kayo na from start to finish, which I'm lucky to have Rexy with kasi he's already written all of MAHARLIKA. Ako na lang yung work na naghihintay. Pero there's an ending eh. There's a target that we can both look at na okay, we have something to we have a goal.
I think the only thing I would add is, and I think it maybe ties into some of what you said too, but I think it's a quote by Ira Glass, he's like the host of This American Life, like one of the original like storytelling type of podcast radio shows, and he talks about like kind of one of your biggest assets as a creative is like is your taste, in the sense of like what's your like, you know, from the media that you consume and how you understand stories, like what's the kind of standard that you hold yourself to, and that you hold like good storytelling or creative work to. But that same thing is a thing that makes it like hard to start, right? Because if you're somebody who has the like a strong kind of defined like taste and identity in terms of creative work, you're also going to be really hard on yourself, and you're not going to start like anywhere close to like what those standards are. And so it's the gap between your taste and where your reality of where your current skill is, and the only way to bridge that is just work and like consistent output. So I think it's just that kind of be comfortable with just doing things for a long time that you kind of feel ashamed of, and then at some point you'll start making things that you're like a little bit less ashamed of. But for me, like every time I ship a chapter of MAHARLIKA, like as soon as it's done and it's out there, I'm always like, oh man, I should have changed this thing. Like this one thing could have been better. I think it's always going to be kind of that process, but like it's a matter of getting used to it and not getting demoralized by it, and kind of enjoying that like hamster wheel almost. But eventually you get there, right?
Honestly, I still yet to finish MAHARLIKA Volume 1, but I'm looking forward for what will come in Volume 2. So make sure to support your local Filipino comics, including MAHARLIKA. I extend my congratulatory to Rexy and John Ray for this amazing series. Man, it's a hidden gem, I tell you what. And if you like more content like this, make sure to hit that like or follow wherever you are in the platform, wherever I'm uploading this. It's amazing stuff. So this is NicDroid, and I'll see you guys again on the next video. And as always, stay savage.